this is amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Moskin and Cam Water.
For the first time here for season 3. Davis on pole, Vanderkran in second. It's going to be sprint round action here tonight. Let's go racing here at Daytona. It was a good start there from Davis in comparison to Vanderkran in behind. Cowan's absolutely bogged it up and already dropped out of the top 3 here as they come down towards turn 1 for the first time. There's biffing and barging between Gallen and Cowan. These guys are still going at it after last season. They survived for this time by though. Through turn 2 and 3 they come. Nice and clean, boys. Keep it up as they come up to...
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannons insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride,
ride with Shannon's.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Through turn 1, it was a horrible start from De Bono. He's absolutely bogged it up and gets eaten alive by Dixon and Gowans as they come on through. Through turn 1 they come, and they all spread out around in towards the first sector of the Silverstone circuit. They look all right at the moment. Okay, there's already been a car spun round. That's Jordan Ferguson offline.
Is green, green, green at Road Atlanta here as well. Faulkner did get away. De Bono is tucked in as well. Unfortunately, Houghton is on that outside line. De Bono does want to turn it to turns. He's got the job. De Bono's overtaken. Now can he get Ben Faulkner up through turns for 2 and 3? They go round the right-hander, dropping down the hill. Faulkner's out in front. De Bono second. Houghton third. Ratcliffe in fourth. No real dramas going into turn 1.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
This is amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Moskin and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tanek and Jamie Dyson just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he could have just sent it up the inside, but he hasn't committed, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we get some good runs. Dodds just absolute thinker, but it is a really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sim Racing World TV. Welcome into round one of the Legends World Challenge here on SRW, the newest free series on offer here with Sim Racing World. I'm your commentator here tonight, Hamish Runner, bringing you all the sights and sounds out of beautiful concrete jungle Belle Isle here in Detroit, Michigan of the USA. It is going to be absolute carnage here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 20-odd little pocket rocket legends rocketing their way round the streets of Detroit. You could not ask for a better way for us to start the championship. Now, yes, round one was supposed to happen last Friday night, but of course, the world went into shutdown when multiple things happened in terms of IT issues, and the world just basically, as I said, shutting down. So we're back here. Round number one, the season has now been pushed back a week, so we'll now go a week longer than the regular SRW season, but nonetheless, we still get to go racing, and we still get to enjoy these fast-paced little pocket rockets, as I said they are, around some beautiful parts of the world. Of course, we start our Legends World Challenge, our world tour, with Detroit, Michigan, here in the US of A. A tight little street circuit that has brought multitudes of carnage across many, many different series here in SRW, including the Warner Brown Tools V8 Supercars in the final round of last season. In fact, it was incredibly chaotic, and a lot of moments happened in those races. We'll be lucky to get a little bit of that magic here tonight. We've been here before in the F3s previously, as well as the 8.6s too. Not sure if we've ever done GTs around this track, but that would be something quite special to see happen. But it's going to be absolutely ballistic to see these drivers tackle some new machines and a nice little Friday night fun event on offer for you here for the Legends World Challenge. Mum Racer in the chat already. Hello to you. Great to have you out there. I believe that might be Di Feldman. If I'm correct, I may be wrong. Of course, please correct me if I am wrong. But as I mentioned, we have 20 drivers out there, all willing to have a crack here tonight to claim the crown here in the Legends World Challenge. Quite a few of them have already set times here in qualifying, including Brett Cananzi, as practice is about to finish up in a couple of minutes' time here. So we will get a nice little view of how these cars are going to be rolling around this circuit. We'll give you a little bit more backstory on this series as well. Yep, thought so. I thought so, Di. Great to have you in the chat joining us once again. To give you a little bit more background on these cars, so of course our Legends World Challenge was held last season as a private series, admin by myself and Jack Anderson as well, who was competing out there tonight. We ran it as a personal series for ourselves. We then put it forward to SRW to run as a free series so people could come in, have a nice little fun Friday night run in a car that they may never actually raced before, especially around a street circuit, as Tyson McAvoy, regular race controller, puts it into the wall. And we put it forward as a fun series, as a series for SRW to try and get some more entries in as a free way and a fun way for them to all get involved. Whether someone was thinking about getting involved with the league and maybe they weren't willing to pay for the entry, or maybe they couldn't afford to pay the entry, at least this is a free way that they can come and race with us on a Friday night. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to put it forward. We obviously loved racing the cars. We've done pretty much half a season by the point we put it forward. And it only went up from there. It only got better and better and better as the more we raced them. So I'm hopeful and I'm excited that this season is going to bring just as much magic as last season did over in the regular Legends World Challenge. Now, it still does run outside of SRW, but we wanted to run it in SRW as well, to give the SRW drivers a chance to check out these amazing machines, and it's going to be on full display here tonight. About 30 seconds left of practice, ladies and gentlemen, then we'll be getting into qualifying for tonight. How the formats work: we will have 10 minutes of qualifying that start at 6:30, around about 6:30. We'll then get into a 10-minute heat race. Then we have a 2 to 5 minute warm up in between the heat race. And the feature, which goes for 15 minutes and has a reverse top 15 continuous grid of race number 1. So if you finish in P1 in race number 1, you start P15 in race number 2. Now, because it is a fun series, we don't really want to have to get caught up in the malarkey of putting out too many penalties, specifically in race penalties like drive-throughs, points penalties, time penalties, yada, yada, yada. So how the penalty system works in this series, to make it kind of fair for everyone and to keep it just fun and lighthearted, is we give out rear of grids and pit lane start penalties, depending on how bad the incident is. So it means that, you know, if you get into a bit of a poorly one in race 1, at least in race 2, you know, you just start from the back of the field. And then if you have a poorly one in race 2, it just means race 1 the next week, you just have a rear of grid or a pit lane start, depending on how bad your incident is. So that's pretty much, I mean, and that's kind of the whole gist of it. Coming out, having a bit of fun, having a crack. All the drivers are already heading out on track. They've had half an hour practice at least if they got in here at the earliest moment. We'll see if that translates here into qualifying. A couple of drivers are going to have to keep an eye on this season, of course. Ben Faulkner, we know he's got some pace in his Vermilion Motorsports machine. We'll be keeping a keen eye on him this season. One driver that I noticed in practice, though, who is just ahead of him, is Brett Cananzi. We'll need to keep an eye on him as well. He had some great pace in practice here tonight. I do apologise for my hiccups that are occurring. Brett had some great pace in practice, and we'll see if that now translates into qualifying. Now, you look at these cars like, oh, Ben's getting a tow here. You get barely any tow off your competitors in these cars. You get barely anything. So, you know, it's going to be more about your skill, how willing you are to really push for a move to happen, and how big those cojones are to really, again, push for those moves, push for those positions. But I think, you know, in qualifying here, it's open quali. Belle Isle's a tough track. You want to get your banker in and then start going for your push laps. You know, get your banker laps in. Right, you got a nice structure you can build upon now, and then get out and push on for some laps afterwards as well. As the first times are going to start here. They're going to start their laps for the first time now. Brett Cananzi is going to lead Ben Faulkner around at the front of the field. They've got Tony Baker in behind them at the moment. So these guys will all be trying to get some maximum pace out of these little Legends machines as Brett Cananzi sets the fastest first sector here on their first attempts for a qualifying lap here tonight around this beautiful Belle Isle circuit. We'll go on board now with Brett as he comes through the second sector of this track. Goes green in the second. Faulkner goes fastest through the second across turn 5 now up towards turn 6. You're trying to hug that inside line as tight as you can, but Brett's had a big wiggle. That's going to be lap over for him, but Ben Faulkner's going to have the opportunity to get released here and look ahead to try and cut himself into another lap. Possibly even finish this one off in a strong run. Up now towards turn 7. You're wanting to brake roughly around about the second brake marker there on the fence line. Cutting it in tight. You'd want to try and avoid the curbs in these cars. You do not want to attack the curbs too hard because these things do not like them unless you are hitting them absolutely plumb. You need to be dead on if you're going to be attacking curbs. Otherwise, you just have to avoid them at all costs. Through Continental Corner they come. Nice smooth run there from Ben. And remembering, it's just like any other race series. These initial lap times, they're not really going to be indicative of the true pace of these cars, the true pace of these drivers. The longer the season goes on, the more comfortable they're obviously going to get with the cars. The more comfortable they're going to get with the car track combinations that are on offer to them. They're going to learn more about the cars. They're going to learn more about the driving style that they need to attack these tracks in these cars. As Ben Faulkner has gone fast here in qualifying already, a 145.78. Sam Catacasinos has gone a 146.20 at the moment. Scott Pocock sits P3 with a 146.31. Brett Cananzi was P5 off that last lap after that wiggle. He went 146.84. Faulkner has backed out of his next lap though. All eyes now are on Cananzi to put another lap in and to try and control from the front. To try and crack that time of Ben Faulkner at the front of the field. He's gone fastest in the second sector. He's gone as good, if not worse, in the first. he comes up towards turn 6. Remembering, you're wanting, it is a real tippy toe through turn 6 on this track. You know, you're coming off the bridge, you've got to bump halfway through the corner. You've got to be ever so careful of how you're putting that throttle input on and just not applying too much throttle at the midpoint of the corner. Otherwise, the thing's going to loop on you. He's gone fastest through the third sector. A little bit of a slide through turn 7, but he did catch it through there. Now up through turn 8 and into the stadium section of this Belle Isle circuit. This could be one ripper of a time here from Brett Cananzi. Into Continental Corner he comes. Does well to wrestle the thing through. And now looks ahead to the final couple of corners now. Turn 12 and then into turn 13. Comes Brett Cananzi. In an unbelievable lap so far. This one here is going to be one for the record books, because he's going to go straight to the top of the timing tower off this second lap. What's the time looking like as long as it was clean? It wasn't clean. So that, unfortunately for Brett, is not going to count. He must have gotten an incident point somewhere across the lap, clipping the wall, and he's now been pipped by the likes of Dan Bartosh and Ash DeVries in the background in the Family Guy machine. So that is what is ever so crucial. You can be on a mega lap and one clip of the wall, 10X, can just ruin it for you. It can ruin the opportunity that you had for greatness on putting the car on pole. And Ben Faulkner right now will be sighing a sigh of relief as he nearly had pole ripped away from him by Brett Cananzi. Majority of drivers have gotten some times in now. The only ones struggling to get some times in, Josh King and Andrew Rushworth and Jamie Davis at the moment. And I believe that some of them are actually not on my list. So we'll double check. We will post haste add them to the list. Let us know, guys, what you think of this series. If you've ever actually had a crack at these cars on a road course before, importantly. And, you know, what you might be willing to, you know, if you were to have a crack in these things, how you think you'd go, how you think you would tackle ripping these things around this track. It is such a tough task. You know, it can be so difficult to get done. But, you know, let us know in the chat what you think and how you think these drivers can best go about their opportunities. Yep, we can bring up your track temp. 100% we can. We're currently sitting at a beautiful 31 degrees at the moment, so absolutely crisp, perfect temperatures for these cars. And there's the lap for Brett Cananzi. He goes 1:35.38. Faulkner went better with a 1:45.6, but it wasn't better than Cananzi that last time by. There's 0.2 of a second separating them at the moment. So those guys are looking like the favourites right now. The only other driver in the 46s, the only other driver close to those times is Sam Katakazinos with a 1:46.20. So yeah, current track temp, it was 31.1 degrees. It is now 32 degrees out there on this beautiful Belle Isle circuit. So it is perfect conditions for these things. We are on that ragged edge of getting slightly too hot in the tyres, then feeling like absolute ice, but we're petering, you know, we're getting to that point of feeling like perfect conditions in these cars right now. 17 drivers have set times in this, 18 drivers have set times in this session. Who is not on my list? Let's double check this. I believe it's Tyson McAvoy. Wouldn't you know it, Tyson is not on the list. Let's add him right now, because we do not want him missing out on getting flamed in the chat. We want Tyson on display here tonight. So we will add Tyson to our list, of course. The predictions into the chat, though, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting into the final minute of qualifying now. Drivers will not have past the 10 minutes to get their times in. They're going to have to get a wriggle on if they want to get times in. One of those drivers who is yet to do so is this man here, Jamie Davis, in the 92 entry. He'll be hoping to get one in as fast as he can. Cananzi's gone even faster again. He's gone a 3.66 there, 1:45.366 on that last lap. So he is absolutely flying right now to get these times in and to try and really put the moz on Ben Faulkner. who is P2 in the standings right now. Hopefully the field doesn't spread out too much here tonight. We know Belle Isle can cause a bit of spreading. It's a bit of a, you can get a bit of chaos out there. Obviously, the walls can really force themselves upon you. You can come around a corner and a wall jumps out at you, and that can then start to spread the field out a little bit. So hopefully these drivers can keep themselves contained and just push on and have some good battles for both races here tonight. Though 10 minutes is up in qualifying. They're going to get cut off, and Ben Faulkner, unfortunately for him, is not going to make pole position in the qualifying session here tonight around Belle Isle. But now it is time, ladies and gentlemen. Now it is time for us to run through the starting grid for tonight's race here out at Belle Isle. And this is how they line up. Brett Cananzi will start on pole position ahead of Amelia Motorsports' Ben Faulkner out of P2, with Sam Katakazinos of Velocity SimLab starting in behind alongside Scott Pocock from Red Rocket Racing. Sam Chapman and Tony Baker will then make up the third row of the grid ahead of Tyson Hanma and Ash DeVries out of P7 and P8, with Dan Bartish and Jake Edwards making up the top 10 here tonight. Keegan Caldwell, Andrew Rushworth then start P11 and P12 here tonight on the grid. It's a good qualifying there from Keegan. He's done well with himself. He's starting ahead of Tyson McAvoy of Performance Sim Racing and Tyler Sheaf of Velocity Racing Team out of P13 and P14 here tonight. Jack Anderson and Mark Cochran will then make up the 8th row of the grid ahead of Josh King, Jordan Ferguson. Jamie Davis and Wayne Edwards will make up the back row of our grid. Leakey is our race controller here tonight. A massive thank you to Leakey for doing the job for us and for trying to control these wild beasts that these drivers are here tonight out at Belle Isle. It's going to be absolutely epic. You do not want to miss a second of it, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon so you are notified whenever we go racing with this sort of action for you on your screens. We've got massive action coming up later tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Warren and Brown Tools GTD action returns to Sim Racing World TV. The broadcast will be going live at 7:50 Australian Eastern Standard Time. That'll be 5:50 WA time, 9:50 New Zealand time, of course. Make your adjustments for any other time zones you may be living in. Be myself and Steph Piccoli in the broadcast booth for the GTD action. We'll be heading out to Spa for some possibly wet action. It's going to be unbelievable, of course. Big thank you to all of our series sponsors as well, including our title sponsors, Warner Brown Tools, Cooler Master, and Shannon's Insurance, and all of our other sponsors as well. DSL Railway Services, NeuroPower, Shunt Scenery, and Groom Industries, the home of the V8 coffee table, where you can see it in all of its glory on Top Gear Australia on Prime Video. Oh, and what a table it is. It is, if I had the money for it, I would buy one myself. Just waiting on a couple of drivers now to get onto the grid, including Katakazinos, Chapman, DeVries, and Rushworth here tonight. Thank you, Jack Oz. 30 seconds until this race start, ladies and gentlemen. We're just awaiting Ash DeVries to get onto the grid before Barney throws the flag for us here to start off our season. As I said, get your predictions into the chat if you haven't already. Faulkner or Cananzi or anyone else who's in the field that you may think put a challenge in. Katakazinos could be a sleeper pick. Same with Pocock. As lights are going to go up, we're going to go racing for race number 1 of the season here tonight at Belle Isle for the Legends World Challenge. And we are go for round number 1. It was a great start there from Cananzi out of P1 as they come up towards turn number 1 now, and they all filter through for the very first time. Faulkner slots back into P2 on the road. Katakazinos continues to apply the pressure as they come through turn 3 up towards turn 4, where all the chaos can occur. We know it can occur as they all start to weave their way down the straight now up towards turn 4. Under brakes they come on through. Can they keep it clean this time? By they look pretty good at the moment. There's a car that's run it wide. That's Tyson McAvoy. Sheafy's clocked him as well through there. And turn 4 has already claimed a couple of victims here, and we're only well, not even 40-odd seconds into the start of this race, but what a start it has been from Cananzi and Faulkner. They are in control at the lead of the field. Katakazinos has done well off the start too to try and hang with them, but they are starting to pull away now from the rest of the field. As they come down towards turn 7 for the first time here tonight, and they settle into those rhythms. In towards the stadium section they come, and it is such a fast-paced little section of circuit. You can see them dancing the cars through there, sliding their way through. Just trying to stay in grips with these vehicles. You can see McAvoy's got the war wounds on the car from the contact earlier on into Continental Corner. Now they look nice and tidy, but that's a big wiggle there from Jamie Davis. As the top two come round the final corner, they're going to start their next lap in a moment's time. But man, oh man, what a start it has been here to race number 1 already, as Cananzi leads Faulkner across the line. Katakazinos is already 2.1 seconds off the back of these boys. So the top two have already got a fight on their hands. Let's quickly check out what happened at the start of this race. This is with Josh King. This was down towards turn 4. What's he done to himself? Well, he's running in deep and into the wall. Very, very easy to do there. And there you can see the remnants of McAvoy and Sheaf in behind him. This is what happened with these boys. It's in on board with Sheafy to give you the best view. So you can see there, McAvoy runs it out wide and then bang, straight back across into Sheafy. Very, very lucky indeed not to get caught up too much in that. As they're back to live pictures now, but we have got a replay of Jack Anderson having an incident here on lap 2. This was down towards turn 4. And as he's just locked it up and ran it wide, unfortunately. And then Davis had a bit of a moment off the exit as well, nearly collected Ferguson off the back of that one as well. So there's fighting happening everywhere here. De Vries has had a moment in the background. He's unfortunately had to tow it back to pits as they come round at the stadium section now. No limitations in this series on fast repairs, ladies and gentlemen, and you do not need to request the tow either. You can just tow straight back to pits and get the fast repair done and get straight back out on circuit. As the battle for P3 continues, and unfortunately for De Vries, he's come out of the pits and he's come out, spun round down at turn 4. Technically it is turn 3, I do apologise, and this is how it's happened to him. All on his lonesome, as I believe Caldwell's been caught up in another incident as well, so he's back out, he's on the fresh tyres, catches the curb, and just a slow pirouette for the Era 404 machine. This is how Caldwell managed to put it in the wall in the 399, as he just taken too much pace through the last corner. He's clipped the curb. Very, very lucky not to hit the wall, then rejoins and gets collected by, I believe that was Cochran. Unfortunately for him, but the front of the field still looking strong right now with Cananzi and Faulkner. We're 4.5 minutes into this thing, folks, and there's already so much that has happened in this race, so many incidents that have already occurred. Ferguson's had an off-track down at turn 4, and he looks to have possibly blown an engine already as he comes up towards the bridge, so he may be having a tow back to pits as Anderson and McAvoy continue their battle on track now up onto the back straight. So unfortunate there for Ferguson to cop himself a blown engine as Caldwell has hit the wall once again, and this time it is down at turn 3 and he has towed it back to pits. So, it's I thought Jordan blew his engine. It's called You should not be commenting, Jackals. How are you commenting? You're racing right now. Get back to driving with McAvoy. It's the Legends World Challenge for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. It is a challenge to take these things around this track and avoid the wall and avoid the carnage. That is what it's all about, though. A bit of Friday night delight, bit of Friday night fun. And that's what the whole series is about. Having a bit of fun, having a crack. Doesn't matter if you hit the wall. It's not for sheep stations. It's just coming out, having a crack week after week. And that's what we're trying to promote with this series, ladies and gentlemen, as Faulkner has now continued to sweat over the rest of the field by setting the fastest lap of the race of 1:45.08, a whole 8 thousandths of a second. No, I'm still wrong. 0.11 faster than Brett Cananzi. Do apologise. I'm getting excited. It's an excitable season. It's an excitable race to get going here. I was edged by a week. I had to wait a whole other week to get this thing going. And it's been so good so far. Back now with Catakazinos here in P3 on the road. He's got Scott Pocock in behind him here. All of the top 7 have not swapped positions in this race. They are still where they started at the beginning of this one. 6.5 minutes into this race now. There's only 3.5 minutes left in race number 1 here tonight. Remember, it's going to go by quick. It's going to go by fast. You've got to try and maximise on your efforts as best as you can as they come into the stadium section once again. Catakazinos under immense pressure right now from Scott Pocock. They got Sam Chapman in behind them at the moment. These guys are all in their rhythm right now. They are in survival mode as Anderson has hit the wall once again. And it is down at turn 7. He's caught out Tyler Sheaf. And I believe Josh King as well. This is how it has occurred for him down at the entry into the fountain. So he had McAvoy in behind him. He's going to come down into the braking section. Gets on the anchors. Oh, and it looked like it just got caught up a little bit too much on the brakes. Held brakes well. Sheafy had nowhere to go. Neither did King. But it looked like he just gripped it up under brakes. The thing didn't want to turn in. He had to force it a bit too hard. And around it went, unfortunately, there for Anderson. Right now, they're on the bubble. For pole position, race number 2 is this man right here, Tyler Sheaf in the number 8 machine. He was trying to nurse this thing back to pits. Remembering, whoever finishes in P15 on the road gets pole position for race number 2. As there has now been a change of position, and it is Sam Chapman of Vermilion Motorsports. He has now gotten past Scott Pocock of Red Rocket Racing here for P4 on the road. He now has Sam Catakazinos in his eye line and a podium finish to boot as well here in race number 1. They got Tony Baker not too far behind them. He's still part of this battle. Same with Tyson Hanmer of, I believe, Vermilion Motorsports as well. And Jakey Edwards is also involved in this battle too. So they come down towards turn 7. As the battle for the lead is continuing on, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have 1 lap to go in this race when they cross the line. They will have 1 lap to go for Brett Cananzi to survive ahead of Ben Faulkner as he comes round the final corner now. He will have 1 minute and 10 odd seconds to get to the line and start the final lap. He'll come across the line this time. Brian Barney will be waving the white flag with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. And it'll be all green flag running towards the end of this race. No safety cars in this one, as we don't normally run the safety cars in the Legends World Challenge. It is merely a formality. And Cananzi has been in control since the beginning. Remembering these guys will be starting back in P15 on the road and P14 on the road respectively. For both of them at the moment, Tyler Sheaf will start P1 ahead of Wayne Edwards in P2. That is how they currently stand in this race. Keegan Caldwell has not rejoined the circuit since backing out. I do believe Ash DeVries has, which is good, back in P19. So they come round turn 6 for the final time here in race number 1. I'll be interested to know what the drivers thought of the first race, what the viewers thought as well, what you thought of the racing action so far. We've got 1 more race to come here, ladies and gentlemen. In between, we will have a little warm-up session for you to go get yourselves a drink. Maybe just relieve yourselves, get yourself a little snack, and then we'll have a little 15-minute feature at the end of tonight's proceedings as well. As Cananzi brings it round Continental Corner, a lead well in hand over Ben Faulkner. A minute 20 seconds. 1.3 seconds is the gap in between them. Cananzi, though, is going to come round the final corner for the final time in race number 1. He's going to cross the line, and Brett Cananzi is going to be the first winner of the Legends World Challenge here in Season 1 of 2024. here in SRW. Phenomenal effort there from Cananzi. Faulkner in P2 on the road. A great drive from him. Katakazinos is going to survive the onslaught. He'll get P3 for himself here tonight. Oh, he has blinked, though. I wonder where he's gone. Sam Chapman is still out there, though, on track. He got P4. As they have all now crossed the line. I believe Sheafy is going to get P15. He's got 4.6 seconds over Jack Anderson. Although he is approaching him pretty quickly, but I don't think he's going to have enough time to get this done without Sheafy binning it in the wall. As he comes round in towards the final couple of the corners, there is Jack Oz. He does not seem he's quite close enough. Hey, it is great fun, Di. It is great fun. If you're thinking about getting involved and signing up, do it. It's free. All you got to do is register at www.simracingworld.com.au. Send a message to the SRW Facebook page. We'll get you invited into the Discord and you can come register for the Legends. It is absolute ballistic chaos, but it is so much fun. Sheafy's going to come home P15. He is going to start pole position for race number 2 here. For race number 2 tonight, he'll start pole position ahead of Wayne Edwards, who finished in P14. But all eyes are on this man, Brett Cananzi, and what he can do in race number 2 here tonight. And if he can continue this strong run of form into the rest of the season as well. We've got the warm-up session to come still, ladies and gentlemen. There is so much more on offer for you here tonight. As I mentioned, 15-minute feature race to come. And then in around about an hour's time, or actually just under about 50 minutes' time, we go live with the Warren & Brown Tools GTD series live from Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Myself and Steph Piccoli in the booth for that one. You do not want to miss it. Hit the subscribe, the bell icon as well, so you are notified whenever we go live with our content. Hit the like button. Any engagement we can get, we greatly appreciate it and will greatly help grow the channel as well. Get into the chat if you're watching live too. Come and let us know what you think of the series, what you think of the drivers, what you think of how they tackled this track out here tonight as the 3-minute warm-up session. How's the tire deck? Absolutely atrocious. It is absolutely atrocious. I'll be honest with you. I raced last season, and tires do not last long if you push them too hard. They will burn away very, very quickly. You have to be so careful of them. The tire deck is one of the letdowns because they are an oval vehicle. They are an oval vehicle technically. We are running fixed setup with the road setup on them. Look at this beautiful shot of the absolutely gorgeous yet diabolical Belle Isle circuit. It is it's phenomenal. It's definitely there. Exactly, the tire deck is definitely there. You know you've got tires until they're gone. Then you think you don't have them. But oh, what a race! What a race number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Could not ask for a better start to the season. Could not ask for a better way to start tonight's proceedings here for round 1. How many races this evening? We've got one more to go for Legends World Challenge, Hutto. We've got the feature race to come after this 3-minute little warm-up break session. We then have a little interview with our feature winner after this race. We then wait about 25 odd minutes once that race has ended, and we have Warren & Brown Tools GTD action to come for Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. So you've got a total of 3 races happening in the span of one night tonight. 2 Legends World Challenge races, 1 GTD race around Spa. It's going to be absolutely epic. You don't want to miss any of the action. What a way to start round 1 for both seasons. Belle Isle, Spa, chef's kiss. Absolutely fantastic. But what is fantastic, though, is the fact that we have about 30 seconds until race 2, as there are some cars going out on track to either do an expression session or get a little bit of practice in as well. What'll be important, though, is if Sheafy or Wayne Edwards can maximise off their front row start here in race number 2 for our feature race. That is what is going to be imperative for these drivers here tonight. Yeah, Jack Oz, you were texting while driving. You shouldn't have been doing that. You may not have hit the wall if you You weren't texting while driving. I will find you, Jackos. I will find you as Scott Pocock looked to line up whoever that was at the end of the straight and absolutely collect them. But luckily for them, they got taken away from the track. As we're about to grid up for race number 2, as I mentioned, 15-minute feature race to come here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and this is how they're going to line up here for race number 2. Tyler Sheaf will start P1 on the road here tonight, ahead of Wayne Edwards in P2, with Josh King and Tyson McAvoy making up the second row of the grid. Jamie Davis and Andrew Rushworth will then start on the third row, with Jake Edwards and Dan Bartish for the fourth, with Tyson Hanmer and Tony Baker making up the top 10 here tonight. We see Scott Pocock and Sam Chapman in P11 and P12 in behind them, as we then move back to P13 and P14 of Sam Katakazinos and Ben Faulkner. We then have Brett Cananzi in P15 here tonight. The rest of the field will be how they finished in Jack Anderson, Mark Cochran, Jordan Ferguson, Ash DeVries and Keegan Caldwell. If they decide to make the race start here, Leakey once again our race controller for this race here tonight. Jack Sheafy saying he crashed into me. Jack was saying, no, I was stopped, you hit me. Hey, I have to agree with Jack Oz. The tape says, Sheafy, that you hit him. He was parked across the track and you ran into him. The tape did reveal that. Di can back me up. She was watching at the time. You hit him, Sheafy. He was parked. He had his brakes held. That was your fault. Got to learn to do better in these scenarios. Oh, I'm so giddy. Race on was so good. And these tight little battles happening, bit of chaos as well. Only thing that could have gone better is if maybe the top two weren't so far ahead from P3, but that is fine. They had a good battle for their lead as well. As it will be Sheafy on pole. We'll see if he bogs the starter, if he can actually make good of this. He'll have Edwards in alongside him. He'll have King and McAvoy breathing down his neck in behind. Don't get me into it. Jack was saying full send turn 3. I'm actually surprised there wasn't that much of a full send at turn 3 last time. It was just Tyson full sending himself into the tyre barrier. You know, he full sent, but he full sent the wrong way. He went into the wall. So we're just waiting on Sheafy, Davis, Chapman, Katakazinos and Caldwell to join the grid if they are going to join the grid for this race start. Pole sitter has joined. Just waiting on Davis, Katakazinos and Caldwell. I don't know if Caldwell is still in the session though. He didn't finish race 1. But we will see. We'll see if he joins us once again. Just waiting on Davis now for P5 on the road. Jamie's in the chat saying good fun. Hey, you better get back out there, Jamie. We've got one more race to go and you're starting P5. There he is on the grid. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Jamie. That's what this is all about. Bit of Friday night delight, bit of Friday night fun. Lights are going to go up. Race 2 to come here. 15-minute feature action around Belle Isle for the Legends. Top 15 have been reversed and we are go for race number 2. It was a great start there from Sheafy off the line, as well as King, who's already slotted himself up and towards P2 on the road now. This was a horrid start from Edwards as they come down turn 2 for the first time. Look to keep it nice and clean. They've done so. Down towards turn 3 now. The dreaded turn 3. They spread out all over the joint. There's inside lines that have been opened for them down in towards the third corner of this track. We'll see if any of them survive, and they haven't. There's been big contact at 3 this time. Bye. It looks like DeVries, Hanmer, Bartish, possibly Faulkner and Rushworth were all involved. It was a big stack early on in this race. Sheafy, though, is looking right behind him as he's got Tyson McAvoy all over his backside. King and Davis, the Team SRW boys, breathing down his neck. Rushworth has called something in, and it's race on for the next 14 minutes here of the Legends World Challenge at Belle Isle. Let's quickly check out what happened here between Bartish, Faulkner and DeVries. We'll check it out at the end of this lap as they come in towards the fountain section. For this race, Sheafy right now is just trying to run away at this point, but he has got a fast approaching Brett Cananzi, who is in the pack right now and trying to make mincemeat of the other competitors as he comes through Continental Corner. Got Pocock and Anderson in behind, as well as Kanakazinos as well. You can see majority of the field still rolling around together as they come in towards the final couple of corners now. Sheafy still leads the way as they come across the line to start lap number 2. This is what happened down at turn 3 on the last lap, with Bartosz, Faulkner and De Vries. So here's Bartosz in the middle. So he's just got sandwiched there, and then Faulkner's been clipped. I believe Handman might have been a part of that as well. And then also De Vries, who got caught up in it too, as well as, I believe, Rushworth. So cars here, there and everywhere down at turn 3 here tonight. As we continue on with Sheafy leading the way, a couple of drivers have now gone into the pits, including Andrew Rushworth, Ben Faulkner, Jordan Ferguson, as well, getting their cars fixed up after the early contact at turn 3 there at the start of this race. So it's now going to be a big job for Ben Faulkner. He's come out of pits. He's going to try and fight his way through the field. No safety cars are going to save him here tonight. He needs to hope for a bit of carnage to happen, as King has had to concede to Davis up into P6 now. He's now got Cananzi on his inside run. And unfortunately for Faulkner, he's put it into the wall, and that may be race done and dusted for him, unfortunately. Unless these guys get into a big biff, as King is struggling for grip out the Continental Corner. Unfortunately for Faulkner, that may be hope and dream over of winning the round, but Cananzi has clipped the back of Davis there, trying to push him through turn 13. These guys are getting their elbows out, and they are getting punchy right now. They are looking for a fight here on a Friday night, as Davis is ended up in the wall on the main straight. So is King, so is Pocock. What's occurred between them, as they've all got wrapped up over themselves here, so you can see them all 3, 4 wide down towards the line. Davis and Pocock come together, then it's just absolutely collided into Josh King on the main straight. Absolute carnage there here. And we're only on lap 3 of this thing, and it is absolutely blown up early doors here in this one. But we look to the front of the field. Tyler Sheaf under maximum pressure right now from Tyson McAvoy for the lead of this race, but they have got the fast approaching Brett Cananzi trying to chase them down, as well as Chapman, Baker and Edwards in behind. Katakazinos is still within this fight as well, so is Wayne Edwards. Mark Crocker and Jack Anderson make up the top 10 at this stage, as Davis has had another incident in the background, and it looks to be down at turn 6, and it looks to be just a minor spin. He's kept on going, but that car is not looking healthy right now. It's looking rather poorly, if you ask me. Ray Douglas in the chat saying, what a great track and fantastic category. Never seen this before. Sensational racing. Thanks so much, Ray. I hope we can see Jace out there having a crack at these at some point. They are an absolute ball of fun. Di saying he'll make it to the line. That's the question. Who's even going to make it to the line? As Sheafy and McAvoy come through turn 13. There's been a knock, and all hell has broke loose here in the second to last corner. Sheafy's been knocked out of the lead. Tyson looks ahead, and whether there's going to be a question answered here for the leader of the RC group, he may have a rear of grid for next week's race, as he looks to run away now from the fast approaching Brett Cananzi. Ray, these things are an absolute ball of fun. I had the absolute pleasure of racing in them in the final round of last season of the Legends World Challenge. They are so fun. So fun. You can push them any which way. It's an absolute wrestle, but it's a fun wrestle. You know, it is so good. And I urge anyone to come and have a crack with this here. It's a free series. You register at www.simracingworld.com.au. You then message the SRW Facebook page, you get the Discord invite, you come in, you register, come racing with us on a Friday night. It's as simple as that. Hutto saying throw the flag. I agree. Throw the flag up. Red card. Tyson McAvoy. And you know what? He's run away from it. He's like, I didn't do anything. That wasn't me. The book may be thrown at him, though. We'll have to wait and see. We'll leave that up for Leakey to decide whether Tyson is going to cop himself a rear of grid or a pit lane start for race 1 of round 2 next week out at Sebring Cup Circuit. But right now, he leads this race. Bunch him up, eh? I know. I would say bunch him up, but we don't normally run the safety car. We haven't prepped Leakey for the safety car tonight for Belle Isle. We've had to fly the safety car over to Belgium for the GTDs later on tonight, so we couldn't get it to Detroit, unfortunately. So they're all a bit spread out right now, but that's fine. It gives us a moment to have a bit of a breath, as I think Tyson's probably out of breath from the fact that he has got Brett Cananzi about to be breathing down his neck in the next couple of minutes here. It is going to be on for young and old. Cananzi, at this point, I don't think he'll be challenged for the round win as long as he finishes the race here at the front of the field. If he crashes out, obviously, then Sam Katakazinos has got a claim at that. Same with Sam Chapman. But it's really going to depend on where he can actually finish this race. We come round. In towards turn 3, and McAvoy has given up about half a second in the first couple of corners now to Cananzi as he looks ahead to try and take the first double bubble win of the season. There's 0.5 of a second in between them now as they come up towards turn 6 for the lead of this race. It's all pressure, all eyes on Tyson McAvoy and how long he can hold on to this lead for. There have been questions about his abilities. Ever since he's been in RC, they say, why aren't you driving? Have you lost it as a driver? And he's out there to prove that he can still bring it with the big guns. Into turn 7 now, defends on the inside line as McAvoy. Cananzi all over the back of him now, like a wet towel on a beach day. As he comes into the fountain section, top 2 battle within half a second right now. Jackals are saying full send, but we'll see if Cananzi's going to go full send, full time. Davis has had an incident in the background, but we're going to keep focused on this in case there's a change for the lead. Cananzi, though, looks for it around the outside at turn 12. McAvoy holds the inside line, maintains the lead of this race as they come round turn 13 to start lap number 6 here. We're 9 minutes into proceedings. We've got 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes for Tyson McAvoy to survive at the front of the field. I do apologise, I'm choking on the fact that Tyson is actually leading a race. I cannot personally believe it. Tyson McAvoy right now has to survive for the next 6 minutes. Unfortunately, though, he's just given up the inside line to Brett Cananzi, but he's going to try and squeeze him as much as possible. But unfortunately for him, Cananzi just has the run down the straight. He has taken the lead. McAvoy did all he could for maximum defence. But now he has to go on the attack. He has to go on maximum assault. He has to put all the pressure on Brett Cananzi for the lead of this race to get a win so early on in this championship, to get a win so early on in this season. But it looks to be a fleeting option for Tyson as he just can't hang with Cananzi at the moment. He's already 0.6 of a second ahead of Tyson McAvoy, and you have to think it's a foregone conclusion. With 5 minutes to go, Brett just has to keep it out of the wall. He should have this thing wrapped up. But that is racing sometimes. But McAvoy, though, is still on for a podium here. And he's still on to try and defend Tony Baker and Sam Chapman in behind him, as well as Sam Katakazinos and Jack Anderson as well. He's actually a bit further back. So this is now the next 4 within this battle. It's McAvoy, Baker, Chapman, and Katakazinos. That is the top 5 battle. For P2 on the road, the leader of this race, Brett Cananzi, is now already spread it out to 1.3 seconds. The leader of this race, his only challenger, his one challenger, Brendan Faulkner, is unfortunately out of proceedings. He unfortunately got into some early incidents and decided not to finish the race, which he has every right to do, of course. Keegan Caldwell never got started in this one. The rest of the grid as it follows: Josh King, P18. Scott Pocock, P17, Jamie Davis, P16, Andrew Rushworth making up the top 15 at the moment, Dan Bartish, Tyler Sheaf, Jordan Ferguson, Ash DeVries just outside the top 10. We then have Jake Edwards, Tyson Hanmer, Wayne Edwards, Mark Cochran, Jack Anderson just outside the top 5. Top 5 at the moment is Sam Katakazinos, Sam Chapman, Tony Baker, Tyson McAvoy, Brett Cananzi at the moment, as this battle is going to continue on here for P2 with 3.5 minutes to go. It's 3.5 minutes for Tyson McAvoy to survive at the front of the field. 3.5 minutes for Tyson McAvoy to survive in the lead of this race. We're going to, in P2 of this race, I should say. Let's just look back here at Jamie Davis's incident that we called out before. So you can see he was struggling for grip. Catches, oh my God, catches the curb and just a massive rollover off the exit of the modal corner. Just a big shunt there for him. His brains will be absolutely scrambled. Get yourself some Nurofen, son. As Ash DeVries then had a moment himself down at turn 7. So he came in, looked to have slightly clipped the curb, maybe carried a little bit too much speed. Just had a bit of a slow spin there through that corner, but got it turned back around. And then Josh King had this moment down at the second to last corner. He was trying to chase down Dan Bartish. He caught the curb, started the spin, and unfortunately there's no way known you can catch it out of that. Ends up in the wall in the 91 machine. That is the most recent incidents that have happened over the last couple of laps. As McAvoy is going to come around, he's going to start lap 8 here tonight. 12 3/4 minutes in this race as he is slipping and sliding through turn 1 and 2. He's going to have 2 minutes to survive on the podium right now. And unfortunately, he's not going to get to have a chat, because it's only the winner of the feature we have a chat to, or the winner of the round, if it's obvious. Brett Cananzi, it's obvious he's winning the round. He's won race 1 and on to win race 2 at the moment. Unfortunately, he's not going to get to come and have a chat because it's only the winner we have a chat to. We don't have a chat to P2. We don't have a chat to P3. That's just how it happens in Legends World Challenge. It's how it happened last season. It's how it's happening this season. We just don't have the time for it, to be honest with you. But Tyson right now could be on for something seriously miraculous. He could be on for something absolutely insane to get on the podium in his first outing in a race car on SRW screens in quite a fair while. I think the last time it happened was either when we had the rain event or it was season 1 of Sunday Supercars. I believe that was the last time he was actually out there in a race car and cutting laps in a race. So not including a safety car, just in a racing condition. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's when I believe it was. 60 seconds to go though. Brett Cananzi, he looks to control this field, looks to control this racing evening here, this first round of the season. He's going to come across the line. He's going to start the final lap of this race. He's got 4.1 seconds in hand. He's got one hell of a lead in hand right now over Tyson McAvoy as Tony Baker has hit the wall and he's now dropped out of P3 on the road. And all of a sudden, with the white flag being flown, Tyson McAvoy has somewhat of a reprieve. He's lost 1 point of pressure off his back, but the acupuncture still being applied by Sam Katakazinos and Sam Chapman right now is hitting all the right nerves as he comes down towards turn 3. Katakazinos is just trying to find a pathway round McAvoy in a performance sim racing machine. He covers the inside line on Katakazinos. He has to give it up at the last moment as all of a sudden Chapman's now all over the back of Caddy as they come through turn 4. Can't quite get the move done this time by up towards turn 5. And McAvoy's just going to have to try and maximise the run off turn 6. He cannot give up any position on this tarmac, on this tarmac concrete composite of Detroit, Michigan, to any which way of Sam Katakazinos. Down towards turn 7 they come now. This is all for P2 on the road. This will be the most intense racing scenario that Tyson's been in a long time. Into turn 7. He defends the inside line. He's on here. He's got Chapman trying to attack Katakazinos in behind. He's trying to survive himself in the midst of this battle. Up towards Continental Corner now. McAvoy tries to defend P2. We're going to have to head back up to Cananzi to check him out in the lead of this race. He's still doing well. There's McAvoy still leading Katakazinos, but Cananzi is going to come round the final corner after a perfect round. Started pole, won race 1, has won race number 2. He'll win round 1 here for the Legends World Challenge. Is Brett Cananzi in P1. McAvoy's going to have a big contact on the final lap. Catakazinos and Chapman are going to get past him. So's Baker. He's dropped off the podium. He's finishing in P5. Round comes Anderson, barely making it across the line. There's Cochrane and Hanmer. And this is what happened to McAvoy up towards the line of this race. He was under pressure from Catakazinos here. Has there been a knock? He tries to defend the inside line. He's blocking like all hell. He's been spun round. Chapman and Catakazinos have got on the podium. Baker's taken P4, and McAvoy, after all that effort, trundles across the line in a broken car and broken ego in P5 on the road here tonight. But this man right here, what a run home it was for Brett Cananzi. What a race. Unbelievable. Ray Douglas saying, Jace races go-kart, so I can see him in one of these machines. Cool cars. Hey, mate, they are exceptional. They're a free car as well, so you don't even have to buy the car. It's just the tracks you have to worry about if you don't own the tracks. Get him to have a crack in one of these things at a road course. I mean, Belle Isle, these blokes are doing 45s, 46s, 47s, 48s. Get him to have a run round in a test session, see what he likes, get him signed up. I reckon he'll absolutely eat these things up. As we await to see if Brett Cananzi is going to come and have a chat to us here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, our round winner here for round number 1. He won race 1. He won race 2. He had pole position, the first perfect round we have had in SRW. The first perfect round that a Legends World driver, that a Legends World Challenge driver has had in a fair while. So we will await him to come and have a chat to us, if he is going to come have a chat to us. Of course, we'll give him 5 minutes until we call it. What we will do is we will run through our feature results for tonight's race, and they are as follows. Brett Cananzi will finish P1 on the road ahead of Sam Chapman and Sam Catakazinos for the podium here tonight. Tony Baker and Tyson McAvoy will then make up the top 5 ahead of Jack Anderson, Mark Cochrane, Tyson Hanmer, Wayne Edwards and Jake Edwards to make up the top 10. Jordan Ferguson, Tyler Sheaf will just miss out on the top 10 here tonight ahead of Dan Bartish, Ash DeVries and Andrew Rushworth making up the top 15. We then have Scott Pocock, Jamie Davis, Josh King and Ben Faulkner. Keegan Caldwell never started race number 2. And as mentioned, Leakey was our race controller here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. What a race it was. What a round 1 it was. It was so great to have you here with us. I did not want to show the grid. I wanted to get rid of our race results. And we'll see if Mr. Cananzi is in for a chat. He's not in the green room yet. So we'll give him a couple more minutes. I may, if Jack Oz is watching, I'll ask if Jack Oz wants to come and have a chat instead in case Brett does not show up. And if he does show up, I'll just kick Jack out. That'll be it. Yeah, Ben, I mean, it happens, man. It happens. You know, but it's all fun, right? It's just all a bit of fun racing. You know, I hope you come back next week. You had great pace. Belle Isle's a tough track. Sebring will be better next week. We have got Jack Oz in there for a quick chat, so we'll drag in Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson, well, what a way for us to start Legends World Challenge in SRW. Hang on. I've got to unmute you because I normally have the other person unmuted because I normally have a co-commentator. But what a race! I mean,
that was great. Great way to open the season. Some action, a lot of action on track.
Mate, we could not have asked for a better way to start this series off. It was so good. You know what, Ben? I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope we see you again next week. Crash or no crash. I mean, this is what it's all about, Jack Oz. A bit of fun. Come out, have a laugh, have a crack. What a race, though. What a race.
Oh, exactly. What better way to unwind after a long working week to have a full send in some legends around some tracks with some awesome blokes.
Mate, that's it. I could not have summed it up better myself. I mean, it was absolutely insane. Some wild moments, as we've come to expect with legends previously, of course. And, I mean, what a place for us to start. Belle Isle, the home of chaos, probably outside of Long Beach. But, you know, the drivers, I think they had a good time. No one really backed out apart from Keegan, who struggled in race 1, unfortunately. Hopefully we see him back next week. But I reckon Legends is taken over right now, because that seemed like a hell of a lot of fun, and I'm so sad that I could not be out there with you boys having a crack.
Yeah, we definitely missed the presence of Pedro out there. So, no, it was great. I loved it, especially the amount of people that actually showed up. A lot of improvement over last season, of course. So
Yeah.
There was action all round as well, so it was great.
And that's what we were hopeful with going to SRW, of course, was that it would try and encourage more drivers to come and have a race with us in these types of cars, which look like an absolute ball of fun. And I think after people see this race, I would not be surprised if we get a whole lot more sign-ups across this season. Sign-ups will remain open throughout the whole season. We will never close the sign-ups for Legends World Challenge, as it is a free series. There's not, we haven't really got anything on offer in terms of a championship win, because it is free, but it's just for drivers to come out, have a bit of a laugh, get the SRW experience of having live race control, live broadcast, most of the bells and whistles. We can't afford all of them, unfortunately, for a free broadcast, but it's a fun time, and a fun time to be had for everyone out on track. And we got Ben Faulkner in the green room. Do we want to have a chat to Ben to see what he thought, Jack Oz?
Of course.
And Sam Chapman. You know what? Let's have a little community chat here for the next 5 minutes. Ben Faulkner, Sam Chapman. We wanted to drag you in. Normally we chat to the winner, but Brett hasn't come to have a chat yet, so we thought we'd just have a quick chat with you. What'd you think of race 1 and round 1? I mean, the Legends are great, aren't they?
They are great fun. It's a tough combination to start on, Detroit with the Legends, while everyone's learning. But I think we're relatively compliant all in all. I thought it was going to be harder under brakes and that sort of thing. But yeah, the first race was almost boring, really. But of course, you reverse that top 15 and it gets a bit more interesting. So yeah, no, it was pretty good fun out there tonight. I only signed up pretty late, so yeah, I was glad I did it.
Well, mate, the Olympics start this week, so we thought we'd throw you at the deep end like an Olympic diver. Just Belle Isle, tough cars, have a run,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, because I have the skills of an Olympian, right? Is that what we're saying here? We're all Olympians in SRW.
I'm surprised Ben's not making that claim, to be honest with you, but Ben, how did you feel, Ben, after doing your about 13 minutes of driving, after unfortunately having to back out after an early incident?
Yeah, it was great. The first race was interesting. I was trying to keep up with Brett. First time racing this car, it's hectic, especially around here. The bumps are just throw the car around. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out when to shift up the gears, because Brett seems to gap me on the straight a bit.
I normally find you can hold fifth pretty long, but then you do risk blowing the engine. It's pretty much once it's like screaming its head off, that's when you shift up, I found personally. But I reckon we finally found a car that you can't win in, Ben. I reckon we found your kryptonite in this. Maybe it's just because Brett raced, I don't know. People have been asking what your kryptonite is. Maybe it's the Legend. I mean, what do you think? Because you had the pace, but I mean, Brett was out there and able to hold you off for he held you off for all the first race pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's my first race, so I'm still getting used to it. Brett's very quick in this car, so I've got a bit to learn. Yeah, it's at the moment, it looks like it is.
Well, thanks for coming over a quick chat to us, boys. We look forward to seeing how you guys progress throughout this season, how this series progresses as well. This is going to be absolutely wild to see how this series evolves and how more drivers we get in, how that's going to then affect the series too. So I'll leave you in there because I'll have a quick chat after the race, but I'll just quickly do me end of race spiel as I normally would do. But big thank you to everyone who has watched here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, be sure to stick around. In 20 minutes' time, going up live on this channel will be the Warren & Brown Tools GTD series. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, the bell icon, and the notification bell. Hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you are notified whenever we go racing here on SRWtv. Be sure to hit the like button as well. For myself, Hamish Mono, this has been the Legends World Challenge here on SRWtv out at Belle Isle here in Detroit, Michigan. We'll see you guys next week for Sebring for race number 2. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
This is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Reece Tanak and Jamie Dyke just absolutely drove away from us.